Hello and welcome to World Talks with me, Ashim Kumar. Poland is rapidly transforming its armed forces, investing in everything from fifth-generation fighter jets and attack helicopters to a new generation of warships and submarines, with Warsaw aiming to build a stronger presence at sea. And one of Europe's most capable militaries, we're joined by Lieutenant Colonel Krzysztof Płatek, former spokesperson for Eurocorps. Colonel, welcome to TP World. Thank you very much for taking time.
Hello.
Hi, welcome. OK, so before we kick off, there's a short video I'd like to share with you, and then I'll get your view on it.
Great.
Polish Army Day is a day of gratitude toward the soldiers of the Polish Army, but it's also an expression of respect for the taxpayers who make the Army's procurement capabilities possible, enabling the largest ever modernization. We're presenting 300 pieces of military equipment. This includes not only the equipment that will be on display here in Warsaw and in Pomerania, but also the magnificent and arguably always the most thrilling part of the event, the Fly Past, featuring aircraft, helicopters, and unmanned aerial vehicles. I'm delighted that our allies will be taking part in this event and that ministers from our allied nations will also be present.
So that was Władysław Koźniak-Kamysz, the Polish Defence Minister, talking about the Polish Armed Forces Day Parade, which is taking place tomorrow.
Yes.
It's a big day. Tell us about it. What's behind it? What can we expect?
Of course, it's the greatest day for the Polish Army in the whole year, because military parades is just the effect of the long preparations, which took many weeks. For the army, it's also a big training, a big exercise, logistical exercise, how to transport a lot of pieces of military equipment from many points, many locations from the Poland just to the Warsaw, and gather them and later prepare to just parade in the eyes of the publicity. So also it's a very important day for the Polish citizens, because this military parade reassures them in national security. It's also a very important day for politicians, because it's just an element of the foreign policy. Because military parades like this one, which will take place in Poland tomorrow, are just an element of projecting the military capabilities and showcase of deterrence to the potential rivals or adversaries.
Understood. But tomorrow's a very special date, isn't it?
Of course, it's a special day because Polish Armed Forces Day is established on the same date as anniversary of the great victory of the Polish arms in 1920 over the communist forces of the Red Army, which were just coming into the European soil through Poland, and hopefully Polish armed forces stopped them on the borders of Warsaw and later counterattacked and pushed them back to the hundreds of kilometers in the direction of Moscow.
Right. I mean, it's interesting that all these years later, over 100 years ago, yes, we're still facing in Poland a similar threat from the same place.
Yeah, it's true, because the Russian politics is the same. It is the same as it was in the Tsar times. It was almost the same in the communist times, when there was a Soviet Union, not the Russia. But the Russian Federation is still a good successor of the same successor of the Soviet Union. So their policy is almost the same.
Right. I want to come back to the parade. Now, you said there were some political statements being made there, and one of them, I suspect, is the fact that we have representatives from armed forces from different countries. What's going on there? Is that normal?
Of course, it's normal because in many previous military parades in August, we've seen our allies marching together arm to arm with Polish soldiers. So again, we'll see American soldiers on daily basis stationing in Poland. Also, we'll see Royal Army representatives from the UK. We'll see the French soldiers, soldiers from the Nordic and Baltic countries. So it's just a regular element of strengthening the international cooperation among the NATO allies.
Okay, now the other thing, of course, that strikes one is that Poland certainly seems to be the most powerful country, militarily speaking, on the eastern flank of NATO. It's spent a huge amount of money on purchasing military hardware, and a lot of that is coming from the United States, and of course Korea as well, but the United States predominantly, so the Apache aircraft, for example. F-35s, another one.
Of course.
How have these purchases strengthened the relationship between Poland and the United States?
Of course, I can repeat still the same, that they build the interoperability between the Polish and the American soldiers. Using the same equipment builds the same chains of the supplies. Also, training and operating with the same systems makes everything easier during the real-time battle, yes, during the war. So if you just share more sweat during the exercises, you share less blood during the real war. Also, it builds stronger connection, economical connections between Poland and the US. It's natural, because if you are just one of the biggest buyers all over the world from the US direction, America's corporations and America's administration, US administration, they have to think that, Poland is our not only the ally in the mindset, but it's also our economical ally.
Right, okay. Now, it's not just ground forces, is it? I mean, we're talking about maritime forces and air forces. Let's focus on the maritime. Prime Minister Tusk was talking about Poland being a maritime power, and that is based on, 2 new submarines and 3 frigates, which are based on UK design. Is that correct?
Of course, but it's still a song of the future, because currently the Polish Navy lack of the modern equipment. During the Navy parade, we'll be able only to see modern mine destroyers produced already in the Polish shipyards, and the Polish new frigates based on the Babcock Arrowhead project vessels, they will be delivered just in the years. Also, the same situation with submarines. The contract has already been signed a few months ago, so we cannot expect that they will just appear suddenly in a few months or even in next year. So we have to wait few years, and it works with every contract, almost with every contract the same, that from the signing to delivery, it has to take few years. Maybe there are some exceptions, like munition, like 155 projectiles. So when you order the ammunition, then you will receive in few months the first deliveries.
I mean, does it surprise you, Colonel, that, Polish people have always known of the Soviet or Russian threat, and yet it's only now, after all these years, after the invasion of Ukraine, first in Crimea and then the full-scale invasion, that Poland is finally kind of investing enough in the defence field. What's taken so long?
Why take so long? Because Polish politicians were not eager to invest a lot of money in the army in the past years, especially more than 10 years ago, because we can recognize that some things started to change in around 2016, when the first big contract with Hutostrowa Wola was signed. It was a big contract for the Krab howitzers for almost 5 billion zlotych. And after that, step by step, the politicians started to invest more and more in the army. And the crucial moment was after the full-scale invasion of Russian Federation forces into the Ukrainian soil. And it was of course, February 2022, everybody remember this. So in this moment, Poland decided to not only to donate the Ukrainian forces with some, maybe not obsolete, but former not the current generation equipment, and then substitute it with the modest military equipment from South Korea and from the US.
Understood.
And later on, thanks goodness, the next decision makers, the next government, decided to continue this modernization process, so we should give them the honor for this.
Well, no, absolutely. It must be recognized also. Colonel Płatek, thank you very much indeed for sharing your analysis with our audience.
Thank you very much.
Good evening. And that brings us to the end of this episode of World Talks. Don't go away, lots more coming up. Goodbye.